happy where everything is, just a few days out from the opener? You feel good about where everything sits right now?
I'm feeling pretty good about, the health, what they're doing on the floor on both ends. Obviously, it's still early. We still got some things to clean up, but from where we are heading into the season, I think we're the most complete team that I've had heading into the season with knowing what we're doing on both sides of the ball.
If you got to win, what would make it a successful first game?
I think I'll keep repeating this over and over again, honestly. The success in the first game would be the way that we execute what we practice, just carrying over the little things. We always talk about that, and the guys start laughing. Whenever they make a play on one of the little things, they'll go, "Coach, the little things." Yeah, because the little things add up, and we can't let anything get by. So for me, defensively, it's just being in the right positions, and offensively running and sharing the basketball.
Any update on Chandler?
No update on Chandler Lawson yet.
How's he handling that?
Not well. I wouldn't be handling it well either. You transfer, you come back home, and you're not allowed to play, and you're just waiting. It's a waiting game right now, so it's not a good feeling.
If he were to be given approval, like, right before the game on Tuesday, would he be able to play in the game, or has it been?
No, if he was given approval, he definitely would be able to play in the game.
When Jalen was speaking earlier, he said he's kind of embracing the role of doing the little things, getting little rebounds, things like that. How much easier does it make for you to coach a player like that who's just ready to just embrace and do whatever it takes, even though he comes in with a 5-star status, a lot of different things like that?
Yeah, no, it makes it a lot easier to coach when you have willing freshmen that are coming in, like you said, that are he and Amani are both 1 and 2 in the country, and their classes reclassed up. And for him to be so humble about just doing whatever it takes for us to win, and no matter what task we give him, he takes it on. And it doesn't matter if we say just block shots and rebound. You'll never touch the ball unless it's a lob. Doesn't matter to him. He just wants to win.
Is that how you envision him, or he showed like a nice turnaround jumper in that last exhibition game. Do you see him kind of expanding his game out with you guys this season?
Absolutely. I think that, he came here because he wanted to develop the outside game. He already had a nice, like a 18-footer. And, we're stretching him out to NBA range when we train him. But obviously he knows where his bread is buttered. He knows to be in the paint area. He knows why he's here. He's not trying to reinvent the wheel on doing some things that he's not accustomed to doing just to show people that he can do them. And or show him that he can't do them right now, And for us, we're just going to keep training him behind closed doors to keep sharpening his skills. And then in the games, he's going to just do what he does.
The excitement level with you guys, you can say what you want about practice and Memphis Madness and all that, but when you know it's Tuesday and it starts happening for real, is there a sense of excitement from your team because of what everybody expects to be a great season?
Yeah, for sure. You're ready to play. I've been ready to play this game since last year. Winning the NIT championship and then having the entire summer going into the summer with good momentum. And then to get those two guys along with Jonathan Lawson, Chandler Lawson, Earl Timberlake, John Camden, and Sam Onu, to get those guys in there, and then Josh Minot, you get a group like that to come in with the core that we kept. We lost some good pieces, some valuable pieces, but we gained some valuable pieces as well. So to be ready for the game instead of practicing against one another the exhibitions were good, but to have an actual game is going to be a lot better.
Hey, Penny, have you thought about considering redshirting a couple of freshmen because you're so deep and to give them the experience to have that extra year under your belt?
There's something to talk about. Maybe those guys will feel like, hey, if I'm not going to play as much, maybe I redshirt. And I'm not against that because it's better than losing a year and not getting a lot of minutes because I've looked at and I've told a ton of people this story. When I looked at Villanova's back-to-back championships and I looked at their roster, it shocked me how many guys were redshirted before. Redshirt seniors, redshirt juniors, redshirt sophomores, and 3 of those 4 or 4 of those 5 are in the NBA. So it gives you that extra year. You can practice with the team, you can travel, you can do everything else. You're just not going to play in the games, and it gives you an opportunity to see the conference and to see how it works.
It is a little confusing when you look at, like I'm looking at the Tennessee Tech roster and you go freshman, you look and go, they played last season because you get the free year of the eligibility. So for your team, you got 2 seniors listed in Alo and DeAndre. So could Alo come back next season, and what about DeAndre?
Yeah, they both could come back because they got the season back this year. Would they come back? I don't know. Especially DeAndre. I don't know about Alo.
Right.
But they definitely could come back the following year.
Have you decided who's going to be the first 5 on Tuesday yet?
I have not. I'm kind of still adjusting, seeing what the chemistry is like. The team that we put out there is going to be the best team that we feel like chemistry-wise your starters off.
Go into the two exhibitions wanting to see certain things. I would assume. What are there anything specific that you're looking for against Tennessee Tech that you want to see?
I want to see us protect the ball. We're turning teams over, at a high rate, but we're not protecting the ball. And I think that's a lot of playing 13, 14, 15, sometimes 16 guys in those two games, and everybody handling the ball, and everybody's not really capable of doing what they were doing. You get some careless turnovers. But for me, to protect the ball, also to keep sharing. Once the regular season starts, it's a new ball game. Who's going to still want to share the basketball instead of trying to get a point per game average? Is it going to be about them or is it going to be about the team? And then defensively, our schemes just making people feel uncomfortable. Can every guy that gets on the floor put that type of pressure on the other side to get them sped up and then to put us into the defensive schemes that we want to play out of?
Penny, when the rankings came out, you were a little bit disappointed, but you said we haven't done anything yet with this team. How important is it to start off strong? Because obviously you're getting a lot of national pub because of what you have, but now that it starts and you have a couple of these games where you're probably not going to be, tested on that level before it starts. How important is it when it starts Tuesday to make a statement that this is what Memphis basketball is?
No, it's really weird, and I want to say this really quickly. First year, I inherit Coach Tubby's team. Second year, James Wiseman can't play. DJ Jeffries gets hurt for a majority of the season, and Lester Quinones gets hurt. The next year, we have so much going on with COVID. The guys trying to mesh. We didn't have a preseason anything, and then we got thrown right into it, and then DeAndre Williams going to play the first 7 games. So I don't feel like this staff has really had a good shot at really getting off to a great start. It just hasn't gotten the best start. So for us, the way that they disrespect our conference, it's so important for us to get off to a great start. We feel like we have a great conference, but the way that they look at us, any team in our conference that loses one game usually drops 7, 8, 9 spots. Houston has been able to sustain because they respect their culture. But for us, we know if we're going to be ranked, we have to win. Because if we lose one game, then they're going to drop us, by a long shot. So for us, it's very important for us to stay locked in on that.
For you, I'm curious as you look at you're entering year 4. You've said you're probably your best roster on paper that you've had. Obviously, you've done quite a bit in your first 3 years, hence the NIT championship. But do you feel like to the outside world, if you will, the college basketball establishment, this is like you've talked about the program, but do you feel like almost like I'm going to prove it to you guys this year for yourself too as a coach?
Well, I think that it's been unfortunate, the things that have happened to us, with James and DJ and Lester, obviously James leaving. And then last year, with DeAndre not being able to start off really hurt us because he was a huge part of what we had to do. And the chemistry was like way off early. So for me, I'm going to be my own biggest critic. For me, I have to prove to myself with having this roster healthy that, I can go and do what I feel like I set out to do when I came here, and that's win and win big.
What was that ceremony like yesterday, getting the rings? Obviously, they're going to raise the NIT banner on Tuesday. What did it mean to you to have? I know it's in the past now, but also, it is a pretty, the most notable accomplishment this program's had in quite some time.
Yeah, it's a victory. You look at it yesterday as just the start of something. You won a championship, and we could talk about it all day long, but at the end of the day, we won our last game of the season and ended as champions. So that says a lot about this core. I can say, hey, you guys are champions because they are. Now we carry that momentum into the season and just ride that wave.
Coach, the staff that you have put together, and people look at that like an all-star staff, but we know that Coach Brown was somebody you wanted from the get-go when you took over. Are the expectations, have they lived up to the reality of having Coach Brown? What has he meant to you now having a camp with that guy next to you?
Yeah, I wanted him all along from day one, and for various reasons. It just couldn't happen, and I just thank God for allowing it to happen now. But what he brings to the table is, there's no worth on that because of his knowledge. And he helps me every single day, whether it's a drill or whether it's a certain way to play, a different action, or even bringing different actions to the team that can really help get more flow with the offense and ball movement. And defensively, he's a mastermind as well, and it's just bouncing things off of him all day and asking him questions, and then him talking to me about different conversations with Coach Smith. You know, he always refers to Coach Smith about everything that he does, and he's just, man, just to have that book of knowledge, that wealth of knowledge around me all the time is priceless.
Has he changed your opinion on things? And when he has a difference of opinion, I know the buck stops with you, but if he said, you know what, Coach, you're right.
No, you know, usually I'm 99.9% going to say, okay, Coach, we're going to go with that.
Right.
But if I have a feeling on something, then I'm going to say, hey, Coach, this is what I'm going to go with. And then he's okay with that. But, you know, usually I'm going with because we think alike. We have the same values when it comes to basketball. And that's sharing the basketball on the offensive end and defensively loading up and playing, you know, shrinking the court. So it's not like I'm far off from his beliefs and his thinking. So when we talk, pretty much the same type of, you know, thinking when it comes to what we want to do.
When you play Tennessee Tech on Tuesday, is it be more about what you guys are doing or game planning against what they're doing?
No, I think when we play them on Tuesday, it's going to be about us. We can only judge ourselves. I mean, that's why they have the stats, you know, around the country, you know, personally and around the country on who's the best in different stats. We want to be the fastest team offensively, and we want to be the best team in the country defensively. So we've been able to do that defensively. We haven't been able to do that offensively. We were 6th in pace last year, trying to get that to 1 on both sides. And I think that's a tough feat, but it's definitely doable.
You guys have to play 1 or 2 more.
One thing that's hanging over the program right now heading into the season is this whole NCAA situation.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't talk about it specifically, but how difficult is it to get ready to start up the season not knowing that any day you could get that phone call or something that could derail it or maybe bring you good news that there's nothing to be concerned about. But having that hanging over the head of a season with a team like this with so many expectations, how hard is that as you get ready to start the season?
You know what? I haven't even thought about it. I really haven't. I've just been locked in so hard on this team and wanting to win that what's been going on with the NCAA hadn't even really crossed my mind. I can honestly say that because we're just pushing forward. You know, there's nothing that we can do about you know, what the NCAA has or whatever. They have it, and whatever they're going to do, they're going to do. So I can only worry about my team and just keep pushing forward.
But would you rather not have a decision now than, let's say, a month and a half from now when you guys are 17 and 0? I mean,
You know, I understand. I mean, obviously, you'd rather it be after the season if it's going to be any kind of decision so it doesn't disrupt what we have. But if it happens, we just have to deal with it, whatever the outcomes are.
What stands out to you about Tennessee Tech?
That they're very disciplined and well coached. Obviously, Coach Pelfrey he comes from a great tree of coaches, and he was a good player himself. And then to understand what they bring to the table, and that's just basically like exactly what we want. Me and Coach were talking about it because it's Coach Brown's scout. They have this triangle that we want to be in every single time, where they're just really shrinking the court. They're big, show really hard on the screens, which we want our guys to do. It's almost like it's a mirror image of where we want to be with our team. And he's done an unbelievable job because we saw them play in a scrimmage, and they do exactly what we want. Their guards are good, and they have a really good big. So they're going to pose problems because they're going to mix it up on us. And their offense, they get the ball side to side to try to loosen you up. And if you're not disciplined, they'll take advantage of your mistakes.
Do one more if we got it, or we can wrap up?
I'll ask about DeAndre's performance in the 2 exhibition games. I mean, he was a little quiet for DeAndre. What did you see from him?
You know, the biggest thing about DeAndre right now is we're telling him to sacrifice early to get the ball going from one side to the other and not make it be about him. And to his credit, he has not cried or moaned or complained or anything about it. But I'm not dumb enough to know not to know that he is a guy that needs the ball in his hands. He does. And we need to have him take advantage of those bigs because he's faster, he's more athletic, and he's almost like a guard playing the big spot. So we're going to find spots to get him the ball so he can be more electric offensively. But for the 2 preseason games, he really just sacrificed, set great screens, ran the floor, and just did what he had to do.